All right, number 26 here, they give us some more algebraic expressions just dealing with angles here. So we have VWX. Apparently that angle right here is 2x plus 3. Next angle, they give us XWY. So that's that angle right there. That apparently is 2x plus 2. And then the whole thing, VWY right there, the entire angle, is 65 degrees. And this is like segment addition postulate here, where you're just going to say the small plus the other small, and then equals the whole. Okay, now when you combine up your like terms, you'll get 4x plus 5 equals 65. You can subtract 5 from both sides to start solving for x. That'd get you 4x is 60, and then you can divide, and that'll get you x is 15. Okay, and that's just the value of x. To figure out the degrees, we plug back in. Apparently, we're going to plug back into VWX. So VWX, that was this one right here. So that'd be 2 and then times 15. And then, what was it, plus 3. So that'd get you 30 plus 3. That's going to get you 33. And then this unit here would be in degrees, 33 degrees. Okay. Now we're going to use the same figure here for this, but this time they're going to add this word bisector. So let me go ahead and clear all this out here. So apparently the angles is getting bisected. So what does that mean? A bisector is kind of like a midpoint for a segment. It cuts the angle in half. So though, let's see here. Let's label everything. VWX is 2x plus 3 again. And then the XWY is 4x minus 11. So since it's bisected, we can say that this angle right here, that hoop right there, is going to be the same number of degrees as that hoop right there. So essentially, we set these guys equal. Okay, so you can subtract 2x from both sides. That'll get you 2x. You can add the 11 to the other side. Well, here, let's do it one step at a time. Yep. And then add 11 and get you 14, and then divide, and that'll get you x is 7. Okay. And then once you have x is 7, then you can go and plug that back in to go find the measure of angle VWY. And I kind of like this one here because they're asking for VWY, and if you look at it, we don't really have an expression there for that. So what we're going to do this time is plug in the 7 in for one of these two angles, and then excuse me. Once you get that angle, you can double it because they're the same, and then you can add them together, and that'll get you the entire angle. So here's what I mean by that. We'll do 4 and then times 7 and then minus 11. So I think that's 28 minus 11. So that should give us about 17 degrees right there. You could go and check and make sure that works out when you plug into this right here. 2 times 7 would be 14. 14 plus 3 would also be 17 degrees. And since they're both 17, you can just say 17 times 2 since there's 2 of them. And that gets you back to 20. Actually, hang on, that'd get you to 38. 34. Struggling with my arithmetic here. But yep, 34 degrees right there, and then you'd be good. So that is that there. Okay, a couple more here on this page. You're going to find the distance from A to B and then the coordinates of the midpoint. All right, so your distance formula. We should be giving this here to you, but I'll write it down just in case. This will be your 2x's subtracted and then square those, and then you'll do your 2y subtracted and you'll square those. It doesn't really matter on the order. Some people will write the little 1 and the 2 there for like the first x and the second x, but it doesn't matter on the order that you subtract them. As long as you subtract these two x values and then these two y values and then square root them and all the stuff you need to do, you should be okay. So let's go with this here. Let's go -2 minus -4. Watch out with the double negatives. All right, and then let's go for the y's, -1 minus 3, +3, right? And then square that. So watch out here. The double negatives will change that to a positive. So that's negative 2 plus 4. If you want to write that step, you can. You don't necessarily need to. Some people will skip straight to the next step here. Negative 2 plus 4 should be positive 2 squared. And we'll square root everything, of course. Negative 1 minus 3 would be negative 4 squared. Now make sure if you're going to type this in the calculator, you put the parentheses, because if you don't put these parentheses, your calculator is going to square the number and then make it negative. But we need to remember when you square a negative number, it becomes a positive. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. Okay, and then you're going to get square root of 20. Now I think on this first test we go pretty easy on you here. I think it comes out as a clean number, or it comes down as a number that can't simplify. This radical does simplify a little bit here, so this will show up a little bit later here in the class here, but you basically find numbers that multiply to 20, which you can do 4 and 5, and then 4 you can do 2 and 2. So the correct and best way to write your answer here is 2 square root of 5. You take the pair, you write it on the outside. The thing that doesn't have a pair stays on the inside. We're assuming you guys remember that from Algebra 1, but there's a small chance that you might not have seen that in a while. So that's that right there. If it doesn't simplify, if that was like a 23, you would just leave it as that answer. And then sometimes will come out as clean whole numbers, like maybe square root of, I don't know, like 144, and then that would be the square root of 144, would be 12. All right, now midpoint, the thing you need to remember here about midpoint. Midpoint is an average, right? How do you average something? You add them up and divide by 2. So some people will use the midpoint formula. It's your x's added together, and then it's your y's added together. Divide both of those there by 2, and then write it as an ordered pair. So let's look at what that might look like here. That would be your 2x's, negative 2 plus negative 4. Divide that by 2. It's going to get you negative 6, and then negative 6 over 2 is going to be negative 3 eventually. Okay. Now there's a y piece to this here, and the y and the x are kind of independent of one another. One will not affect the other. So this next one would be the two y's, negative 1 and 3. Add those together and divide by 2. That would get you positive 2 over 2, and then that would get you positive 1 right there. And that'll be it.